Can you let me know if you can hear me? Just say yes if you can hear me. I'm so excited to be live with everybody. Yes, okay, great. Yay, holy cow. Whew. All right, I got some messages that I want to share with you guys today, and I was guided to do this live. It's a very different energy when you connect live than when I do a pre-recorded video. So it's live time. There's a lot of energy coming in. There's a lot of beings that will come in and sit with you that you can feel. So I invite you in this now, if you have the opportunity, to really settle into your body, because this message is all about embodiment and what's going on with our bodies. The ascension process is all about the body. Believe it or not, it's actually the body that's ascending, not you. And so we have to learn how this works. We have to remember. I'm so happy you guys are all here. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. It feels so good. It feels really good to be here live. So without further ado, let's jump into the message. And again, I invite you to settle into your own body right now. Find your breath, quiet everything around you if you can, and spend some time with just you right now as you receive this message. And also understand that as we are live right now, we've opened up a portal. And so there's many, many different beings that are around you right now. They're always around you, but when we're live, it's more energetic. You can feel it more, right? The magic has turned on. So, so settle in, settle in. Okay. Here it is. This is not going to be anything new that you've heard, but this is going to be what you've been experiencing, okay? When we drop into the physical body as a higher consciousness, we drop into a dense third dimensional form. We drop into a dense third dimensional field. And it is intense. It's overwhelming. It's a little bit chaotic, right? You don't necessarily remember this, right? But this was the experience. It was like, oh my God, I am density. I am physical. The physical body is designed. It's electrically designed to hold that higher consciousness. Okay. It's designed to hold your light codes within the DNA. It's designed to hold the channel that holds the energy centers that flows energy through you and around you and outside of you. It has that energetic field around you so that you can bumper car against all the other energies. It's a beautiful machine. Okay. It's electrically designed to hold frequency, energy, electricity. When we drop in and feel that density and start to experience the external consciousness through people, places, events, experiences, if you are consciously in the body, the awareness is in the body, you will feel everything. You'll feel everything. And what happens as we navigate the journey in every now, so we're 1 day old, 10 days old, 6 months old, 2 years old, we start to say, excuse me, this is too intense being in the body. It's too much. And so we bring our awareness and our attention out of the body. It's almost like we numb out and become a little bit unconscious. And so it's not that you're physically outside the body. Obviously, that's impossible, but your awareness is out of the body. And so you are sort of shut off from being connected energetically and electrically to your body and to everything that's happening. Now, you're always connected to it in some way because you're experiencing hunger, you're experiencing the heartbeat, you're experiencing breath, you're experiencing movement, you experience emotions. But the intensity of it is dimmed down dramatically when your focus, attention, and awareness is external and out of the physical body. Again, it's like you've closed off the container and you're no longer open and receiving within the body. It's like you've unplugged from the wall. The light circuit isn't on anymore. Even though The energy is always moving. Higher consciousness is always in there. You're always connected to higher self. The energy centers are in there, right? Everything is always moving. It's always flowing. It's always working. But if your awareness and attention isn't inside, if you're not embodied, you won't experience it. So most of our lives, many of us have been out of the body because it's too intense. And so this journey right now that we're in, this consciously ascending process, this awakening process, is all about reuniting with the physical form, moving our awareness back into the physical body, completely into it, and remembering how the entire circuitry works. Remembering that everything that we've ever needed, this isn't like a spiritual woo-woo love thing. Everything you've ever needed has been right here. Physics-wise, energetically, your higher consciousness, your higher self, connection to your guides, connection to where you came from, connection to source, connection to everything is here. But we've been programmed in this density, not only to escape out, to fall into amnesia and to cut off from the body, but to seek externally for that which has always been right here. And we're unfamiliar with right here. And when we start to move into the body, what starts to happen? What you've been experiencing for how many months or years? Emotion, beliefs, behaviors. Things start to turn on. You start seeing yourself differently. You start recognizing, you start feeling, you start feeling crazy, bipolar. You're starting to feel more physical sensations, right? You're starting to feel more past life experiences coming up. There's all kinds of stuff. You're feeling the trauma, the shadow, right? You're feeling more of the collective because you're in the body and you're feeling your electrical energetic field around you. You're turning on. You're coming in. And it feels like freaking like a whole different world. It's like, wait, I don't know how to navigate this. This is too intense. This is too much. I feel claustrophobic. I feel like I'm in a box. I feel caved in. I feel too dense, right? We've believed for quite some time that in order to be in the higher states, we have to expand out beyond, right? And kind of have this floaty feeling. Ah, it feels so good, right? Like that floaty, expanded state. And that's great because that's you feeling your light. But it is designed to be right here, intensified right here in this box so that you can navigate consciously with all the aspects of you, everything that is occurring in your now through the body. And so when you come back in, it feels dense, very heavy. And there's a part of you that's like, wait a second, I'm not supposed to feel heavy. I'm not supposed to feel dense. Yes, 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 yes. You want to start to take your eyes from the external and say, boom, what's going on in here? What does my channel look like? Your channel goes right down the middle of your body. It's currently holding 7 energy centers. These energy centers spin, they hold light, right? You have these electrical grids that are going all out from those energy centers throughout your entire body. You've got pockets of density inside your body right now that you can navigate into. You have an energy center that people call the 4th energy center or the heart chakra, right? That energy center that brings you right into this 0 point field, this now presence, source consciousness, unity consciousness, Christ consciousness, all the same thing, really. You have these light codes that you can literally start to feel and see as you go in. You start to connect and see the higher self. You start to tap into your higher consciousness. You don't need a gift. You don't need a frequency. You don't need to be anything other than who you are right now to be this, to experience this, to feel this. It's right here. It's with breath, right? And so what happens is when we start being guided back into our bodies, embodiment, right? Getting back in the car as opposed to standing outside the car, right? They gave me this analogy today of we are designed, we, the higher consciousness, are designed to navigate this third, fourth, fifth dimensional field within this car. And when you're in the car, you're in control, meaning you're creating every now moment. You're turning, you're going up a hill, you're going down a hill, you're stepping on the gas, you're putting your foot on the gas. You're recognizing, oh, I need to get gas. You stop and get gas. You fill up to get the new oil changed. You are completely aware of everything that's occurring in every now moment in the physical form, i.e. the car, because you're in it. It's a sense of control, but you're not controlling any of it. You're flowing. You're in a flow state in the car, right? The radio's on, you're hearing all your guides speaking to you, singing to you, right? Everything's functioning the way it's designed to function. The body is designed to hold you and function for you. But we've been outside the car, looking at the car saying, geez, how does that work? And how do I know I can trust that thing? And that thing is intense. I don't know how any of that works. And once I jump in that car, it's too overwhelming. I hear these sounds going off. I don't understand how to change my oil. I'm going to step outside and just walk next to the car, because that way I feel like I'm in a little bit more control. It's a pseudo control. But when you're outside the car, you feel like a victim because all these things are hitting you and happening to you. And you feel like you don't have control over anything, even though you think you're completely in control. It's a pseudo control, right? You forget you're outside. You don't remember. You're just floating around. And you're looking at the car saying, I'm not going in there. It's too intense. These last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 days, 2 weeks, our bodies have been turning on in a way that they have not turned on before. So it doesn't matter your exercise routine, the food you eat, the water you drink, the people you hang out with, the clothes you wear, the meditations you do, none of that matters. Your body has been upgraded. And what that means is that you are holding more light. And when you start to hold more light in your car, guess what happens? You start to see everything even more. You feel things even more. Literally, the light switch is turning on. You're going to feel that really, really unconscious trauma and shadow you haven't felt. What the hell is that? Where is that coming from? That's not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be feeling that. On top of the fact, you guys, that you're also clearing the collective right now. I'm not even talking about that piece, right? I'm not even touching the surface of what's actually occurring inside your body as you clear the collective. Let's push that aside, right? I'm just talking about you starting to embody the physical form and recognizing all the different limiting beliefs you have. You're starting to become the observer, right? You're starting to watch. When you are embodied, you become an observer. When you're outbodied, you are the experience. You're no longer observing. You're like, I'm in it. I am anxiety. I am depression. I am this relationship. I need all these external things. I need externally because I can't find it here because it's in the car. It's in here. And so as soon as you come in, you start to observe. How do you come in? You find your breath. That's the lighthouse, right? The breath, that simple. And then you practice taking your awareness and moving it in. What would it look like if I navigated into a channel within my body? What would it look like if I connected to the light codes that are sparkling all around my physicality inside? What would it look like if I moved myself into one of my energy centers? What would it look like if I pulled myself in and asked higher self to integrate and embody into me? What would that feel like? Right? You know all of this. You know all of this because you moved into it before you were born physically into this human body. You are an expert in this. You've just forgotten. Because you came into it. You connected into that physical form you're in right now. You understood how it would electrically work. You also understood there's amnesia, which means that we're in such a dense field that you would forget. You would have a cloak over that awareness. You knew there would be out of body or disembodied experiences, depending upon your human journey, how disembodied or out of body you would be. But this entire ascension path, journey, experience is done in the body. It is the body that ascends, not you. You're a higher consciousness. You already are in a higher consciousness. You're experiencing this through the physicality of this vessel that's taking you into other dimensional fields. It's the body that holds 5D consciousness, and you, the observer, as the higher consciousness that dropped in, feels 5D consciousness, bees 5D consciousness as a human, experiences 5D consciousness. You're not 5D consciousness. It is all about the body ascending, not you. For the sake of words and the third dimensional linear perspective, we say we are ascending, makes it easier. Instead of saying my body is ascending. But essentially it is your body that's ascending, not you. You are a higher consciousness experiencing the physical ascension to participate in it and to assist humanity and the earth plane to ascend their physical bodies. It's a physical ascension, physical form. So when we speak about 5D consciousness, new earth consciousness, it's you are already holding it in your body. Most of you are already holding it in your body. But you have to clear out the density. The shadow, the trauma, the unconsciousness, the uncomfortable experiences. Forget about what you're clearing collectively right now, right? The anxiety, the stress, the worry, the fear, the lack, all these things that you're clearing from the collective is also going through you that you have to feel. So as you come embodied, you feel all the collective you're clearing, you feel your own clearing, and you think there's something wrong with you. You think you've done something wrong. You're not ascending, you're not doing this right, you're not assisting, all these things we have. That's the version of you outside the car, looking around saying, I'm not doing this right, I'm not doing this right. As soon as you come in, you start to feel, you start to connect, you start to remember, you start to observe. There's steps to this, right? First, you come in and find your breath. Then you start to recognize, holy shit, I feel dense, I feel heavy. Then you start to feel a lot more emotionally, limiting belief-wise. You start to see your behaviors differently. Then you start to feel energetically a lot of different things, your resonance. Then you start to watch your entire life shift before your eyes. People no longer resonate. Jobs no longer resonate. Where you live no longer resonates. The clothes you wear no longer resonates. The food you eat no longer resonates, right? And it's a practice of flowing with this process, with this journey. So I want to talk about they gave me 5 ways that your body right now is being upgraded and how you may be experiencing this. Okay. So I want to talk about these 5 ways. Okay. So here's the first thing that's happening to all of us. So we already know this, right? A lot of us, but more of your light codes have turned on and are currently turning on. So really quickly, what does that mean? So light codes are information. It's light that's holding information, okay? And when you dropped in as a higher consciousness, you brought in light codes. These are not the same light codes that created the physical body. So your physical body is also created by light codes. These are separate light codes. There's 2 sets of light codes. 2 sets of light codes. Light codes that created the physical body, okay? And those are activating, those are upgrading, right? As your body starts to shift from matter to crystal, a crystalline form. It's those light codes that are shifting, okay? And then there's a second set of light codes that are your ways of being, your gifts, your abilities, your remembrances, your knowingnesses, the way in which you navigate the higher states. Those are light codes also, and they're turning on. These light codes, these sets of light codes turn on automatically, naturally, as your body starts to anchor down the higher frequencies. As soon as, let's just say that you're at a 4.2, you've anchored a 4.2 frequency. All the light codes that are holding 4.2 frequencies will naturally turn on when the body hits that frequency. You have light codes at all these different frequencies. So if you have light codes at a 4.7 frequency, as soon as your body has anchored a 4.7 frequency, these light codes turn on. You get it? So what we do through an ego perspective is we say, I want all my light codes turned on. I want all my light codes turned on. And the light codes are like, I don't care what you want. Your body has to anchor it first, period. You can't turn on any light codes until your body has anchored that frequency, period. That's how physics is. That's how energy works, right? So we don't have to do anything to turn on our light codes. But when we get light code activations, what that does is it assists the light codes that are currently in the process of turning on based on the anchoring of light that we're holding, 4.4, let's say, right? So we've got all these different light codes that are ready to turn on, right? And when we get light code activations, basically what it does is it assists. It's like a how would I describe this? Like you know, when your heart stops and you get the defibrillator and it jolts a huge amount of electricity into your body to start your heart. Well, it's the same thing when you get a light code activation. There's a jolt of electricity or light that comes in and it assists those light codes to turn on, right? And so right now, what is happening with you is there are a group of light codes that are in the process of turning on, if not already turned on. And these light codes are shifting the way you are being. They're shifting how you see. You have more clarity. You have more knowingnesses that are coming from nowhere. People are literally leaving your experience. The way you are engaging with people, totally different, right? You're starting to hear things differently. You're starting to hear sounds differently. You're starting to hear information differently. You're feeling more energetic, right? There's all these ways, and you're starting to have this like awareness and knowingness that you don't know how and where you knew it before, but now you have it, right? Maybe you're starting to see colors. You're starting to see different dimensional fields. You're starting to see light beings out there, spaceships, right? Craft. Maybe you're starting to hear people's thoughts. You're like, how do I know this? Maybe you're starting to read cards. You're like, all of a sudden I'm reading cards. I don't know how I'm reading cards, right? There's all kinds of things that occur when the light codes turn on. And there's a large group of light codes that just turned on for all of you and are currently turning on, okay? So that's the first thing that's happening right now. You're having a lot of remembrances as well. Remembrances of where you came from, remembrances of your family of light, your star family, remembrances of past lives, remembrance of how this all works, remembering the Akashic record. There's a lot of things you're starting to remember because the light codes are holding the information that holds that. Got it? Good. Okay. Second thing, your body has anchored higher frequencies. So the way the body works is it acclimates, assimilates, and then anchors the light, right? And once it anchors the light, your body has now created a new flatline frequency. And that flatline frequency is when the light codes turn on, right? That flatline frequency is where you are anchored. It's literally where your body is physically anchored. Now, there's a lot of high frequency light that's always coming in that your body's holding. And there's lower frequencies of light that your body's holding at every now moment. But that anchored point is kind of like a baseline. It doesn't change. It only moves up. And it only moves up as the body anchors down the high frequency light that's coming in through acclimation and assimilation. So what has been occurring over the last couple of weeks, in the last 2 days, is a massive anchoring of another frequency for you. Okay? And this means that there are a lot of physical symptoms that you're feeling. A lot of physical symptoms. Heaviness, nauseousness, dizziness, exhaustion, elation, a lot of energy, needing to move your body, needing to stretch your body, needing to get the energy out of your body, ringing in the ears, not seeing the same way, having blurred vision, super hungry, not hungry at all, super thirsty, only wanting green juices, needing to eat a burger, right? What else will you feel when the body's anchoring? Irritability. There's a lot of irritability that you may feel. There may be aches and pains that you may feel. I mean, massive physical symptoms when your body is anchoring light and has anchored light. And what happens is once it's anchored you into the next frequency, there's a yo-yo effect that you feel. But this yo-yo effect moving you through the third, fourth, and fifth dimension is a little bit different, right? You're always yo-yoing, right? You're always moving through these three-dimensional fields. Why the three-dimensional fields? Why the third, fourth, and fifth? Because these are the dimensional fields, frequencies that we're holding in our bodies right now. We are tapping into sixth dimensional, but very few of us in very small frequency. So most of us are holding in the body the third, fourth, and fifth dimensional frequencies. And depending upon how much of that frequency we're holding, we're going to go through this yo-yo through these three-dimensional fields, okay? And so it kind of feels like 1 minute you're super dense and heavy and feeling disconnected, right? The next minute you're feeling like, oh, I think this is okay. I think I've got this. The next minute you may be feeling so at peace, so open, so expanded, so much love, right? Those are the three-dimensional fields. And so as you anchor that light, right, you're moving into the next highest frequency notch. That yo-yo effect is still going to happen, but you may be yo-yoing between a fourth and fifth dimensional field and not so much the third. Or you're yo-yoing between the third and the fourth and not so much the fifth yet, right? It really depends on your frequency. I don't know your frequency, but depending upon your frequency as it anchors, that yo-yoing is going to feel a little bit different. And how do you feel the yo-yo effect? You're in body. You're in the body. So you want to feel crazy. You want to feel bipolar. You want to feel like you're losing your mind. You want to feel like you're doing all this work and yet you're doing nothing. The ascension process feels like I'm working so freaking hard and yet I'm not doing anything, right? Because you're awake. And when you're awake, it feels like all the lights have turned on and you're in this schoolhouse that has all these teachings and everything's being given to you and you're like overload, right? Like, whoa, that's what it means to come into the body and turn on, wake up, right? And the waking up process is actually very simple. There's really nothing to do but come in, settle in, be aware, observe, and breathe. But it feels like you're doing all kinds of freaking work, right? Every day you're like, Jesus Christ, I'm still awake. You can't go back to sleep. Being awake is exhausting sometimes. So the third thing is you're going to be feeling more of the buried, unconscious trauma, shadow that hasn't been popped up yet. Why? Because your entire body is now holding a higher frequency. There's much more light in it, and it is literally shaking or shining the light, or like a salt shaker. That really dense, hidden consciousness, right? Stuff that you didn't even know was there. Stuff that you thought that you had already worked with and cleared and healed. And, I thought that this was done, right? Whatever's coming up, it's not that you didn't do it correctly. It's that it's still there. It's still being uncovered. There is nothing wrong with whatever is coming up. This process doesn't happen like this. It doesn't happen overnight. Boom, bang, we're done, right? So when you start to anchor into that next frequency, which is when your body gets upgraded, which is what just happened and is currently happening, there's going to be more shadow, unconscious. It may be through physicality, meaning you may be feeling more physical pain. You may all of a sudden have an illness that you've never had before. You may have your body break somewhere. Sometimes, you guys, when we are debilitated physically, so we get into an accident, we have something break, we have an illness come up, some sort of disease pop up, we have something happening physically where we have to pay attention to it. That is your higher consciousness, your higher self, directing you to where that consciousness is to bring you into your body to feel what's actually underneath that illness or that dis-ease or that pain or that break. It has nothing to do with the physicality of it. It is your higher self saying, hey, listen, you're not getting it. We need you to feel this. It's time. So many times you'll get into accidents, you'll break something, illnesses are popping up. You're being literally stopped in your tracks right now when your body upgrades, so that you start to pay attention to what is actually occurring inside, so that you can bring awareness to that pain and say, what's actually inside that physical issue? It's always energy, it's always consciousness, and it's always unconscious trauma of some sort that wants you to say, hey, look at me. Or it's an Akashic record, and you're designed to clear it into the light, integrate it into the light, heal it, acclimate it, or alchemize it into the light, so that you can teach others how to do that, how to heal, right? Healing, all healing is taking density and alchemizing it into light. That's healing. Okay, the fourth thing that's occurring right now as your body begins to upgrade and is being upgraded. Things are being removed from your life. So people, places, experiences, events are literally being removed from your life. There's a whole new platform that you're starting to stand on, almost like there's been an earthquake and things have shattered and separated and moved, crumbled, and you're now standing on a new ground. It's like, certain people aren't in my life anymore. Certain events and experiences aren't in my life anymore. Certain ways in which I exercised, ways in which I ate, activities I did. And they either sort of naturally just left and were removed, or you consciously were like, I am done with this. But there is a very new way of being that you're going to, if you haven't already, you're going to start to experience. A new sort of platform, they're saying, right? You're standing on a new canvas. This happens every time we get upgraded. And this is a massive upgrade that we are going through right now, right? We're still going through this upgrade. Upgrades don't happen overnight. So when I get information from my guides, let's just be clear about now moment. Let's be clear about time. They talk about it as if it's occurring in this now and it's done, right? Here's what happened. Here's what's happening. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what's happening in this now moment. For us, we're linear. So it could take a month, a week, 2 days, 6 months, right? So we want to let go of time. But this is happening now, right? So there will continue to be things that are going to leave your life that are no longer for your highest good in terms of the frequency that you've now anchored. You will be pulled to leave places, people, events, experiences, ways of being human. It's an absolute. And you don't want to beat yourself up when you're not following it necessarily, right? Like, God, I'm feeling this pull. I'm feeling this pull to leave this person. I'm feeling this pull to leave my job. I'm feeling this pull to leave where I live. I'm feeling this pull to do these things. You don't want to beat yourself up or force that new shift. You just want to be aware that the shift is occurring, right? If it happens instantaneous for you, what a gift, right? If it happens naturally in a flow state, what a gift. For many of us, it's this crunchy movement where it's like, okay, I know that it's time. I know that I'm about to make this change. I know that I'm about to shift into something different, but it's not quite the right time, or it doesn't quite feel right yet, right? That's you in an upgraded state, recognizing that you're still experiencing that platform in that lower anchored state, and you're in the process of shifting. So you want to have patience with yourself. It's happening. It will happen. It always happens in flow, in an effortless state, meaning the next thing you know, this opportunity opened, this new person opened. You ended the relationship and it just kind of ended, right? Things tend to happen quite effortlessly when it's divine time for it to unravel and occur. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways, you guys, that these things are going to be removed from your life. Sometimes it's just like this. Sometimes it's effortless and it just happens. Sometimes that person leaves. Sometimes you get fired. Sometimes you push and you make it happen. And a lot of times it's that crunchy in between. I know it's coming. I know I'm about to. Just hasn't happened yet, right? So that's the fourth thing that's occurring right now with these upgrades. The fifth thing is a massive slowing down. A massive need and desire to slow down. Quieting, releasing the external, meaning releasing the need for external, which means that the way you were receiving joy, peace, validation, love, all of these things, we're still going to receive it from the external. That's the beautiful thing about the physical reality, is we always get to receive it from the external. And what a gift, right? But what we're noticing, and what you'll start to notice, and you are noticing, is that you aren't going to be searching for it as much externally anymore, because you're going to be in body. And so you'll start to realize, oh shit, I think I might be okay right here. Actually, when I slow down and stop and come into this field where people call it this 0 point field, which is where everything stops. Everything stops. Time, thought, being, everything. And it's a voided space. It's a voided space of nothingness and everything all at once. And you start to find that more and more. You find it more and more. It's beyond 5D consciousness. It's really the closest thing we can come to source consciousness. And we start to feel it by quieting, by slowing down, by allowing, by surrendering, by settling into everything, by not doing so much. One of the most beautiful gifts of this COVID-19 is that it slowed many of us down, not all of us. So we are all on different paths, and God bless all of those that were essential workers and that are continuing to go out there and work. But even those workers, it has slowed us down in many ways. It has taken away the externals that we depended on, that created happiness for us, joy, abundance, a sense of oneness, right? Oh, I need all of these external things to feel these certain things. And it has redirected us inward. Many of us would never be where we are right now in this time, in this space, if it wasn't for COVID-19. That consciousness that had to come in, that consciousness that had to be cleared on the collective. It was a massive shift. It needed to happen. On a much higher perspective, it needed to happen, and it's going to continue to shift us. There are gifts in all of it. So this fifth step that you're experiencing is this reconnection back to you, back to unity, unified field, all connecting to all beings, all consciousnesses, the earth plane. But the only way we get there is by slowing down, coming in with the breath and finding it, finding us. So there's these 5 steps that are occurring right now, or these 5 experiences that are occurring right now as your body is being upgraded. The light codes are turning on and you're remembering more. You're experiencing more abilities, more gifts, more knowingnesses, more remembrances, more, oh my God, I know these things. Oh my God, I can hear things. I can feel things. I can receive things, etc., etc. Higher frequencies have been anchored into your body. You're anchoring into higher frequencies. So there's a lot of physicality, physical experiences you're having. Any and all physical experiences are part of this. All of them. You're feeling more of that buried unconscious because you're holding more light. You've anchored more light. So that unconscious buried trauma is popping up to lovingly see so that it can be alchemized back into the light of who you are. That's all. Nothing to be afraid of. It doesn't feel good, but it's part of the upgrades. It's part of ascending. It's part of your body shifting into higher frequencies, your body anchoring into higher dimensional fields. Things are being removed from your life, number 4. Consciously, unconsciously, by your choice, not by your choice, right? Your entire life is shifting. Yes, you'll be healthier. Every time you anchor into higher frequencies, your body's getting more healthy, more healthy, more healthy. And the more you are in body, the more you will feel that prana, that life force that moves you, your consciousness, your light, your body through every now moment. That's why when we talk about vaccines and 5G and all of these things, the more you move in body, you guys, the less you will be afraid of those external things, because you will remember and feel, holy shit, the light that I have inside of me, you can't penetrate it. It's too high of a frequency. Believe it or not, a vaccine can't penetrate these high frequency lights that you're holding if you hold that belief. The 5G waves that have all this massive impact on the physical form, knowing what your body holds, connecting to what your body's holding, connecting to those high frequencies, it will literally bounce the 5G off you. Seriously, no joke. That's how high of a frequency it is. It will bounce the 5G off you. But you don't realize this or remember this yet because you're not all body experiencing your frequencies the way you're designed to. Because as soon as you come into your body and start to really feel your frequencies, to remember who you are, to remember what's going on, to remember all this and step away from the external paradigms, the external stories, the external fears, the external stuff that's clearing, the programs that are clearing, they're not going anywhere. They're clearing. They're going to come up. They're going to get louder and louder and louder. And it's your choice to say, wait a second, what's going on inside me again? Let me go in. Let me breathe. Let me embody for a moment. Let me feel that light. Okay. Now let me imagine a vaccine going into my body. Okay. Do I have the ability to literally transpose or alchemize that vaccine into light? Fuck yes, I do. Abso-fucking-lutely, I do. When I'm in my light and I imagine 5G coming into my body, do I have the ability to literally extricate or block that 5G? Abso-freaking-lutely. How do I know? Because I have felt my light. Because I have felt me, my higher consciousness. Because I know what my body is capable of. But if you are standing outside the car, walking along the car, the body, right? And you're experiencing the external in a fear state, in an anxiety state because you don't remember who you are, you're going to believe those programs. You're going to believe those paradigms. You're going to believe that they are going to impact you. Victim, that's the victim, right? It's totally okay. It's totally normal, you guys, to feel this. It's very, very normal. Nothing wrong with it. This is why it's so important to get into the body, in body. Why do you think this is happening right now before all of these things unravel? Why do you think this is the way it's unraveling for us to get embodied, embody, embody, embody before the vaccines come, before the 5G really starts to unroll, right? Before all of these other things are going to continue to unravel. Why? So that you can remember who you are as light, the power of you as light, not as programs, not as paradigms that people tell you. You step into the car and you begin to drive and say, I think I'm going to drive over this way today. I'm not going to go through that storm. It's a beautiful storm. Love it. Not going to drive through that storm. And let's say there's a road and you've got to drive through the storm. Let's just say like a vaccine is going to happen and we have to have a vaccine. I don't know if it's going to happen, but let's just say, what if we do have to have a vaccine? Okay. I'm in my car. I'm driving down the road and it's vaccine station time. I'm in my car. I'm sovereign. I'm a huge high light frequency. Anything this little station wants to put into me is literally going to dissolve in my light. Period. End of discussion. But there's all these signs and there's all these humans that are telling me all these things that are going to happen when I take this, right? But I'm in my body, I'm in my car, and I'm saying, they're not in this. I got my radio going, my guides, I've got my connection, I've got full tank of gas. I am going. Get out of my way, put the vaccine in, I get out of my way. That's who you are. That's sovereignty. So if you find yourself, about going down a road and this is what we have to face, I don't know, but if it is, you remember this message, right? Remember this message. For anything that you may have to do. And you can always move your car wherever you want to go. You don't have to do anything. We have free will, always. But if you're moving your car out of the way because you're afraid of what that's going to do, well, then you're still in that consciousness. Do you understand? Meaning, it's a fine line between understanding sovereignty and still playing in the paradigm. You want to find that fine line. You want to find that fine line. So that's 4. Actually, that's not 4. I don't even know where that was. That's a tangent. That needed to come in. That message needed to come in. And then 5, right? Slowing down, moving into that 0-point field, quieting, remembering, allowing, trusting, flowing, going beyond a 5D field, a 5D consciousness, and moving into a much larger quantum space. So everything that's been unraveling, you guys, is preparing us for what's going to continue to unravel. Nothing's a mistake. Ascension is not cross your fingers, I hope the right things are happening to me. It's not oh shit, why is this happening to me? Every single thing that is occurring for you right now in your now is for your highest good, and it is always moving you to the next highest frequency, always, regardless of what it looks like, feels like, sounds like. And everything that is happening to all of us that are awakened right now is designed to prepare us for what is going to continue to unravel in the external, because it is going to get more crazy out there, not less. Way more than what you're seeing right now. And we have to be prepared to be able to stand in it and to not be beat up over it and to not be consumed by it, to not lose the internal observer perspective as it pops up. The key to all of this is the internal observer as the high consciousness that you are, or the higher self, so that you can see it all for what it actually is, as you still feel it in a 3rd dimensional physicality, emotions, thoughts, beliefs, right? We don't get out of the arena. We're never leaving the arena. We have to stand in the arena with everything else that's unraveling. And we have to stand in the arena with the remembrance and the knowingness of who we are and what we are here to do. And how do you do that? You get embodied. And that's the message. How distracted are we throughout our days from the external? Very. How much time do I spend inward, internal, embodied? How aware am I of being in the car or outside the car? Right? Am I in the car today or outside the car? If you're outside the car, you're going to feel like you're out of control, like there's things happening to you, that you have no choice, that you're a victim, that you're overwhelmed, that like you're being kind of forced into things or pulled into things, right? When you're in body, in the car, you're in this state of, listen, I'm experiencing everything. I am seeing everything as the observer. I'm recognizing this playing out like a movie. And I'm feeling it all. I'm not disassociated from what's occurring. I see it. I feel it. I'm wide awake. I'm observing it, but I'm doing it inside a sovereignty, a field, a knowingness, a protection, a safety. I feel solid. I feel okay. I feel good, even though I am feeling what they said for step 3, right? These buried unconscious traumas and the buried unconscious traumas from the collective. So when you embody, you are not escaping the arena. You're not escaping what's occurring out there. The opposite, you feel it even more. From the observer, I'm watching this. I'm watching myself as a third dimensional body in the arena, feeling energetic, light, higher consciousness. That's what's happening. Does this make sense? So there you go. That's what's happening. So remember that, okay? And there's so many other things, right, that are going on right now. So many other, there's just a multi-dimensional experience. So there's just so much more happening. But embodiment is key. Breath. How do I get in the body? Breathe, slow down, quiet, soften, surrender, turn everything off. Turn it all off. Everything. 1 minute, 5 minutes. How many minutes do you have in your day to sit and do nothing? Do it and be with the breath. So be gentle with yourselves, you guys. I'm telling you right now, and I promise you, this is not coming from me. This is coming from higher dimensional beings. There's nothing that you are doing that is wrong. There is nothing that you are doing that is pulling you off path. It may be crunchy. It may be uncomfortable. It may feel like you're stuck or in limbo. That's okay. This is part of the path. This is part of the experience. This is part of the journey of ascending the physical body. So there's nothing wrong. You may be wanting higher states. You may be wanting to expand and feel all these amazing beings or whatever it is that you want, right? And that's okay. Just get back in the car. Settle in. It's all right here. And remember the light codes. They're gonna unravel. They're gonna open. They're gonna activate for you. Settle and trust. Remember this. You dropped into physicality. You dropped into that body. You dropped into that form. You know all this. You know all this. You remember all this. You're just remembering it. So try not to make anything wrong. Don't beat yourself up. Please don't beat yourself up. Try not to beat yourself up. Be the observer. Observe, observe, observe. Observe the human body. Observe that ego in the human body. Observe the way you judge things, attach to things, the limiting beliefs you have. Observe it. How do you observe it? You get into the body, you breathe, you connect, and then you have this internal gaze out, this internal gaze down. It's an internal gaze. That's the observer. You're watching you. So instead of watching the movie out there in the external, you're watching you. What am I experiencing as this human form? What am I feeling in this human form? What is my body doing? What behaviors am I doing as this human form? What emotions am I feeling in this human form? What thought beliefs am I experiencing in this human form? Do you understand? You are not it. You, as high consciousness, are in the form. And while you're in the form, you're also saying, oh shit, there's all kinds of other stuff in here. And you're experiencing it. Observe. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. If anybody that you know needs to hear this, send it to them. Send this over to them. Let them hear it. Okay? Remember, you guys, the paradigms, the programming, the things that are unraveling right now and that are going to get way more intense, that are going to unravel way. The shadow of the collective is going to continue to pop up. Remember that you're way more powerful than any of that dense consciousness. That's why you're freaking here. Why do you think you're getting into the body right now? Why do you think you're awakening? Why do you think you're remembering? Why do you think you're consciously shifting and holding higher frequencies? So that you can alchemize that density. You can alchemize the 5G. You can alchemize the vaccines. You can alchemize the pedophile rings. You can alchemize the deep state. You can alchemize the injustices. Right? You can alchemize all of that by recognizing that the light that you hold literally emanates out and dissolves all that. And however else you navigate it is okay. Standing up, speaking up, protesting, creating experiences, whatever you want to do, it's fine. But the whole purpose of all of it is to stand in the arena amongst the dark, amongst the shadow, in your light as you continue to hold higher frequencies in the body, recognizing that you are way more effing powerful, way more powerful than any external third dimensional paradigm that is playing out right now, regardless of how it feels in the body as you digest it, and regardless of the beliefs that are held in that paradigm. Science is in a third dimensional frequency. Your body is much higher than third dimensional. Do you understand? You can believe the third dimensional science, that's great. Or you can believe the frequencies that are in your body. It's your choice. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's a choice. It's a remembrance. And when you start doing this, standing in the arena, you start to see the programs and paradigms for what they are. A third dimensional program and paradigm that is literally alchemizing, crumbling. That's why it's coming up. That's why it's happening. And we, as way showers, are here to show the way. How do we show the way? We don't buy into it. We don't let the fear control our actions outside the car. We show the human, I have a choice. I am choosing not to buy into that fear. I am choosing my own reality. I am choosing the light that I hold inside of you, that you hold inside of you, that you hold inside of you. I'm choosing a different reality that is inside of me, not outside of me. And that's how you shift your reality. That's how you shift the collective as you stand in the arena. And how hard is that, right? Because we are inundated with these paradigms, with this fear. Massive fear. Are you playing in the fear? Are you believing the fear? If you believe the fear, you are playing in the paradigm. Okay, don't beat yourself up. I get it. I do it. Can you observe that? You're not the fear. The fear doesn't control you. The fear isn't real. It's a belief. Even though there is scientific proof around those beliefs, it's held in a third dimensional consciousness. And when you come in body, you remember, oh, I'm a higher frequency in the body. My body is literally swirling high consciousness, way higher consciousness, fourth, fifth, sixth dimensional consciousness that literally extricates that third dimensional consciousness, dissolves it. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here in form. Am I buying into that fear? Because if you are, then you're buying into 3D consciousness, and it's okay. But you're in the arena to watch 3D consciousness, to watch 3D paradigms, to watch the 3D density boil up, just like you're designed to watch the 3D trauma, the 3D density in your own body come up. You watch it, you observe it, you love it, you see it, you don't let it control you. You don't let it tell you that this is your truth. The shadow that comes up, is that your truth? Is that you? No. The shadow that comes up into the collective, is that your truth? Is that you? No, it's an experience that's unraveling. There's many different paradigms that are unraveling and will continue to unravel. We hold light. We hold love. We hold joy. We hold peace. We hold empathy. Empathy is when you put yourself in someone else's shoes. You feel what they feel. You experience what they experience. You say, oh, I understand. I understand why they're doing that. I understand why they're feeling that way. I understand because I'm putting myself in their shoes. Compassion is when you feel for them. Oh my God, I feel so sorry, or I feel sad, or I feel love, or you feel for someone. I'm feeling compassion for them. Empathy is where you are stepping in, putting yourself in their shoes and experiencing their now as if you are them. And then you actually empathize with that person. And what that does is it takes judgment out of anything. You can no longer judge the person because you're in their shoes and you're saying, oh, if I was in their shoes, I get it. I understand. If I lived their life, I get it. I understand. Empathy is very, very challenging. But that's what you're here to do. Have empathy over and over. Compassion's great, but can you take it a step further and have empathy? Can you empathize with all the humans that you're literally pulling your head out saying, I don't understand. Why are you wearing, why are these things? Why are you doing these things? Why? I don't get it. Okay, let me put myself in their shoes. They're probably really fearful. They really believe the media. They really believe all these things that they're told, right? They believe they're going to get sick, or whatever it is, right? You instantly try to put yourself in their shoes. Everyone's always doing the best they absolutely can, even when it is what we would consider horrific, awful, bad, not good, dangerous. Does this make sense? It's really important. We don't want to blame. We don't want to point fingers. We're all in the arena together, you guys. So we want to watch how there's a massive divide happening. This divide is called polarity. It's third dimensional, and it's going to get more obvious and more intense. There's going to be and there already is, right? Massive polarities. We want to really do our best to not join in on the polarization. Try not to. Can you step back and sort of see both sides and understand from a higher perspective, oh my God, this is bringing everything into a unified field. This is bringing everything into a unified field. It has to divide in order to collapse. This division has always been here. It's just been hidden. And so now the divides are popping up. The polarities are stretching apart so we can see it and say, that's what I'm unifying. Got it. Whew. How do you unify? You empathize and you love. That's how you unify two polarized fields into one unified field. You empathize with both sides. You see both sides and you love both sides. And what happens when we do that on an energetic level, this is all energy, is these fields eventually merge into a unified field so that it can shift into the next highest frequency. Practice. Okay? How can humanity is going to slowly start? Humanity wakes up as you wake up. Humanity wakes up as you come in body. Humanity wakes up as you remember you have choice. Humanity wakes up when you speak your truth with love, with compassion, not duality, not I'm right, you're wrong. Remember, you speak up, you're sovereign, you hold truths from this neutral perspective where you're watching both. Okay? Personally, when I'm watching these things unravel, there is always a side that I side with, that I feel more comfortable with, that I resonate with, right? And that's okay. But as I'm resonating with a specific side of the polarity, at the same time, can I also step back and see both sides? Practice seeing both sides. I might not understand this side, but can I try to put myself in their shoes? Can I try to understand it? Because when you try to put yourself in that person's shoes and you try to understand it with empathy, then you allow yourself compassion for them and love. There's love, there's love, there's love. And when you have love, the frequency shifts. Okay, I'm done. I love you guys. Be gentle with yourselves. Thank you for jumping into the physical body. Thank you for being here now in this massive physical shift in consciousness, both inside your body and externally in the collective. Thank you. There's no mistake you're here. There's no mistake you're experiencing. Everything you're experiencing, you're surrounded by beings of light. You're surrounded by angels, angelic realm, dragons, fairies, gnomes, you name it. You're surrounded by them. You are not alone. Come in body, come in body, come in body. I love you.